Hello and welcome to Stay Tuned, the interactive surreal photo exhibit. Come this way. An interactive photo exhibit where you're allowed to wear a TV head and take photos in the areas that are also in some of these photos. We start our journey with Stay Tuned with peace. Peace is about how we can either choose our salvation and our planet, or we can choose utter destruction, represented here by an atomic bomb. And peace is being offered symbolically by this white rose. And it doesn't matter who offers us peace nowadays, they're all tainted in the blood of division or the actual blood of harm. So it doesn't matter who's offering us peace, it's going to be tainted, and we must accept peace, because we'll get back to that in a second. Obey is about how the elite have bought the media and tell us to stay tuned and always listening to them, and sensationalism. Disposable tool is about what happens when the elite are finally done with the media and toss them away like a disposable tool. So the TV heads are wearable, so patrons are allowed to wear the TV heads, sit on the TV's interactive set. There is hidden props from some of the photos where you can use the props for your photos, make your own art, make your own images, and have fun with it. This section was added to the gallery, which is breaking news, because we had a recent ice incident here in Durango. So this is about how in small towns the bubbles pop, right? This is called Stay Tuned When the Bubble Popped. And it's about how small town Durango is no longer a bubble and the world's problems are here. This is freedom and joy. This is what I hope happens in the outcome, and the children are set free and back with their mother. If we stand and we look in the mirror here, we can see behind us is distraction. And distraction is doing a great job. Distraction has accepted the gift of the pineapple, and we'll get that here in a second, and is preaching distraction at all types of sensationalism, but they are truly standing on division, where they turn your neighbor into your enemy and tear America in half. So then we come over here, and which leads us to Peace Rejected. Peace Rejected is about how we reject peace. She tears up the rose, and we accept nuclear annihilation. On the screen it tells us to stay calm and listen to authority, which then leads us into this one, which is not here, but you can see it on your screen, is nuclear bath. So this is what happens when the nuclear blasts finally go off. Humanity is erased, and then the rest of the Stay Tuned happens when all of humanity is gone and nothing is left but our memories. Which leads us over here to Forgotten Art. Forgotten Art's about how when we look too far into the future, especially with technology, we leave behind the beautiful past, decaying in a muddy basement in the middle of nowhere, which is where this photo was taken. And over here we move to breaking news, which is when the elite offered the media a pineapple, because the pineapple represents a gift that the old rich used to give each other in the old world. And it is a gift, but it is a gift that decays, so it doesn't have an expiration date, as we saw in Disposable Tool. Then we lead on to in-game capitalism, which there is dollar bills in the screen of the TV at the front, and the question is, how do we make money? First TV's thinking about it, second TV might have an answer, third TV has given up entirely on this answer and turned its back and is looking towards the past of when we once had civilization, right? Because how do we make money is an irrelevant question when nothing exists. Which then leads us to Empire of Dirt, which is the lesson we learn when everything's gone, that all we end up is an empire of dirt. All these empires we build eventually become rubbish and just a handful of soil. Election night, I took on 2020 Election day, when I saw the world, especially America, literally standing on their screens, noose around their neck as if it was tied to their phone. Can't think of anything other than the election and what's happening. The background was a built background where we see the media at one point was upright and told truth and told, factual things, and then all of a sudden hits election time, hits sensationalism, and then it skews towards fear. And then we're always trying to make our neutral thoughts our own thoughts here. And then you can see on the left and the right is completely being bombarded at all times, trying to outweigh your opinion with theirs. And then our last one on the wall of big ones is nature finds a way. So everything's tucked away and everything's in the dark. And even while humanity's rummaging through the dark, right, and we've done a lot to lock nature in the dark with us, nature still finds a way. Right? Nature always finds a way to persevere and find the light. This is the wall of firsts. So this is the very first one, Baby It's Cold Outside, that started it all. December 2018, I tried to fix an old TV, couldn't fix it, saw that it was about the size of my head, cut it apart, put a piece of plexiglass in it, put a light in it, and then dressed in this outfit and stood outside in the freezing cold Colorado winter and took self-portraits and ran back and forth all night to just keep busy. Which then led into Rummage, which was me going to a location in Dolores, Colorado, where I was able to rummage through somebody's old stuff and do a multi-exposure of this kind of TV head, kind of forming a life, kind of figuring out the story of where they come from and what their whole mission is. Election night was the first time I had actually built an outlandish place or found an outlandish place, and it's also to help show that everything is real. And then it continues the impactfulness of each of the pictures that I try to convey. This is a big city broadcast, and this one is about how when we read books, right, they're figuring out human life, they're figuring out all these cities that used to be inhabited with people, right, and there's hope represented by a sunflower, and they're always looking towards the future, and they're trying to broadcast their ideas into the greater realms. So this was the first one I ever put a screen on the screen. The first time I edited something onto a screen. Then we have the pandemic. I made this 2 weeks into the pandemic, maybe 3, and this was commentary of how our hands are dirty, our hands are bloody, and our hands cause death, right? And when we touch things, people die, right? And what's scarier than that, right? Than the fact that just touching something is bad, right? What kind of message does that send to people in their own bodies? So this is the TV reading about that, experiencing absolute isolation in a dark time, only surrounded by screens. So this is the first one where I really try to say a message that wasn't just like, Baby It's Cold Outside or Rummage, where they're just kind of like digging through the past. This is actually trying to say a message of a certain point in the past. And then this leads us into our other interactive area. As you can see here with the Polaroid board, patrons were invited to don a TV head themselves and then take a Polaroid and either post it to the board or take it themselves, or post it to the board and come at the end of the exhibit and come collect it. So it just adds another layer of immersiveness and interactivity where you're invited to not just sit and look at things, you're invited to explore and be one of these TV heads and add to the story. Then we have the living room, which is another area where you can take photos and another interactive place to dig for photos. Before we get there, we have home. Home is TV's, imitating romance and feeling what it is to love someone and have that love grow, right, through gestures and romantic endeavors. And that was just a cute, fun one. Beef, question mark, on the TV screen. It's got a Salisbury steak ad. And it's questioning this cow because it's wondering, how does this cow become beef? It's commentary on when we're gone, if things don't eat animals, how do they know what steak is? And it's also commentary between our modern times and the disconnect between us and our food. A lot of us eat food all the time that we don't know where it comes from or how it's processed or anything about it, right? How does a cow go from cow to Salisbury steak? Then we have the walls we built, which is what happens in any relationship when you just, those little grievances and everything just built brick by brick by brick by brick until all of a sudden the doorway is closed and it is just sealed off by bricks, and you can see by the hands in the middle that the tension has built. And then in our interactive areas where you can take photos, you can also dig for hidden photos. So there's photos hidden in the books. There is free photos hidden throughout, let's say, Take Me, so you can take tiny prints from the areas, right? So this one's home, and they just hide up places, and people can take them, and if they find copies, they can hide them and enjoy the joy of hiding things. All of it slowly tells a story about who the person is. The story in this one is the story of me, so it is little hints of my hobbies and my life, and everything that kind of just got me here. And then we can come over to this side. Then we have Leave a Light On, which is an illuminated piece. And it is, I try to capture the feeling of what it feels like when someone or something leaves your life and how empty your house truly feels. And that you'll always leave a light on, waiting. More interactive areas to look through things. Then we have the Wall of Memories, which is a wall you can also take pictures in front of and fill in with your own memories. It's commentary on how when we're all gone, or if you look at pictures of people you don't know, right? They're just blank faces. So when everything's gone and done, it doesn't matter what pictures are in the frames, they will just be frames with memories. And just more pieces of the puzzle to tell. Part of the exhibit allows people to leave notes. So in this one we have tiny hopes and dreams. So they're invited to leave a tiny hope and dream and write with it with big ambitions. This is a real pencil, so it's just another layer of people to sit down and escape the day. And then there is tiny take me's hidden in here as well for people to find and take. People are always about the process. They always ask artists, what is the process? How do you do these things? So I just give people my process. I build abandoned rooms. I build surreal play areas where you can wear the costumes I use. And then I use my camera to do this, but you can use your cell phone and use this selfie tripod, don a TV head, take a self-portrait, edit the screen, frame it, hang it. And you have done everything that I have done. So you can experience the whole process and truly understand how much effort and stuff goes into this work. We come over here. There are 70 photos in the exhibit. 45 or so are on the walls. That means a lot of them are hidden either through the books or the tiny photos on the bookshelves are hidden throughout items, or they're in this little collage area of family things. So this is an old collage photo that I took apart, put my photos in, left some photos in, and then it looks like I've encouraged so much interactivity that somebody has taken my art off the wall and then put a picture of Steve Buscemi in here, which is kind of hilarious. So that's also fun, because it's not only my space, it's their space, and that's the whole point. We're exploring and we're trying to piece together the puzzle together. This next one is The Void. The Void is about how if we stare into the abyss stares back into us. The abysses are junk and our need for technological advancements. So this is a dome made of car hoods and a blank screen for us to stare into nothing, dressed in a suit to remind us of the money that we make selling these things. And then we have another fun one, which is Dreaming of Water. The water's always wetter where we're not, right? So we're always dreaming of the opposite of the environment we're always in, and that's a curious thing to these TV people, right? We always want to be somewhere where we're not. So this TV is in the middle of a harsh desert, and it would rather be near water. So that was just a pretty fun one. 404, person not found. This one's about immigration. Where is this place? Who is this person? Why are they in a cage? None of those answers will ever be answered or found, just like this person. We have the gallery, which is taken the day before in our lovely, if you want to pan and show them that. And you can see this is the same exact area that the TVs are digging. So this is just fun commentary of even this place will too be a memory one day soon enough. Queen of Ghost Town. This is just commentary of how we celebrate burning everything down, and even when everything is gone, we will still take parts of our own thing, right? We will be the kings and queens of our own demise. 1984. This is a TV finding a 1984 book in the game section. Commentary that 1984 was supposed to be a warning, not a playbook of how to play the game. Right, and if we look in the bottom corner, you'll see winning chess strategies. And they really did find the winning number. Obsolete. This is commentary of how we throw everything away and everything is just obsolete at the end, and it just becomes so fast and rampant in our current state of affairs. So it's a really nice, just poignant piece of our times. Piece bigger. The way I do my photos is because I want my buyers to feel like they have a special part of myself and my art, so I want them to have solo prints. So my guarantee is that I only print one photo of each size of the larger sizes, starting at 8.5 by 11, 11 by 14, 16 by 20, 24 by 36, and so on and so forth, until the resolution of the photos blows out and then I can no longer print them. Right, then the idea has been sold and I will no longer print any of them. So this is the third time piece is sold, so the next time it prints, the picture will be the size of the frame and the frame will be slightly larger. Stay warm. It's commentary about how when the observers get broken messages of how homeless people used to put their hands above these barrels to stay warm, because they don't understand the cold and they don't understand the necessity of having to stay warm, so it's curious to them. The Joys of Flying is about the joys of travel, all the luggage, all the canceled flights, and then at the very end, when humans are gone, the oceans become very real again. The mountains become very real again. Right? All the flights are canceled. The Art Dealer is framed backwards because it takes view from the perspective of the art. So he has made all this art, he has poured his whole soul into it, so there's nothing left on his screen, and now he's trying to sell it. But there's a disconnect between him and his audience, represented in the disconnected phone cord. We have Girls' Night Out. So this is just a fun one about how the TVs plug into broken Reddit forums and read of a perfect girls' night where they wear lingerie, do art, take sexy photos, bathe in the blood of their exes, girl things. So this is just a fun photo shoot representing all of that, because we use a lot of metaphors and turns of phrases in humanity, but when things are very literal, what does that look like?
Okay.
Then we have I'm Just a Girl. She's upside down. There's blood on the ground. Why is she in that weird pose? Why is she upside down? Why is there blood on the ground? Where is this? She's just a girl. What's all the questions? Why is everybody making a big deal? She's just living her life, and everyone's making her the center of their universe. Temporarily here, you can see in the TV screens that you can see through them, and there's no reflection of the bottom screen. This is to show that everything is temporarily here. Even the observer is temporarily here and won't even be noticed when they're gone. Then we have, last off, this is just another fun one, but it's also commentary of how we celebrate our own destruction and our own advancement into total annihilation. This is a real missile sitting on the real back of a truck, and those are real clouds. yeah, it's just to show that you can find all these wacky places by just going out in the world. Like I said, there are 70 photos hidden in the exhibit. If the patron can't be bothered to go and find them, then they can walk over, they can stand in this corner, they can put their head down, and they can stare at the screen. Which is a pretty fun photo to begin with, and pretty interesting commentary. This one over here is puzzle. So it's what it feels like when you're trying to help somebody figure out their own problems, or you're trying to figure out your own problems and someone's trying to help you. And just how broken all the pieces seem to be and how hard it is to put together that beautiful thought once again. This is 90s nostalgia. So this is the first photo shoot that I did with a model. This is my best friend who downed a TV head in 2019. And then we went to an abandoned trailer out in Dolores, Colorado and took a bunch of photos. You have I Wish I Had a Friend. So this is her dreaming of being in this nowhere place stuck in time, wishing she had a friend. And then the TV that's next to her eventually becomes this TV. So she eventually does build a friend, right? And then we have Smoke Break, just another fun one about, imitating being people, taking a smoke break, packing your luggage, putting down your thoughts in your recorder, right? And then finally they're done living stuck in time and adventure awaits. And they leave the trailer and they go out and they explore the world. This one is J0SH, Josh. He is a local photographer here in town who does a lot of work and good for the community, and never really has his picture taken, so I just wanted to have a fun thing and take a photographer out, take their picture while they took photos, and it's just a fun way to imitate human life and just tell different people's stories. And then we have the gallery, which is all the pieces over in the wall of memories, because even this place too one day will become a memory. And this is just kind of that feeling of it's all just memory at the end of life. So thank you for coming. Oh, sorry. And then there's other little hidden exhibits within the gallery to find little hidden photos, some of them taken in the exhibit, telling people to donate to the gallery so they can keep doing great things. But that is stay tuned, and thank you all for coming so much, and I hope you enjoyed your tour.